As usual for low score challenges, we will be trying to get the lowest score for every level in the game we play. Now, I will be playing every level in the game, including all the extra levels and the GBA exclusive secret levels. Now normally you can't play the extra levels unless you get 100% in each world, but who really cares about that, so we'll play them anyway. Before we get started, let's talk about the score system of the game. There are 3 different parts to it that add up to 100% in the level: stars, red coins, and flowers. Let's talk about the least threatening one first, flowers. Flowers are honestly not that bad. They are mostly out of the way, and they want you to explore the level to gather them all. This is very good as each flower is worth 10 points, which is a massive amount of points considering the max is 100. If we do encounter an on the path flower, we'll need to do some fancy work to get past them. Red coins are next. Red coins are basically hidden coins that will add to your total score. There are 20 of these hidden throughout each level. These guys look nearly identical to normal coins, so it's really difficult to tell the difference until you collect it, while also making a distinct sound when you do. These are much harder to avoid and are spread out basically everywhere, making every coin an anxiety check. Last up are stars. Stars are the most important out of the scoring system. Stars basically relate to your timer. At the start of every level, you will have a base of 10 stars. When you take damage, your star count will decrease by 1 until 0, in which Kamek will steal Mario and make you lose a life. When you recover Mario, your stars will recover back up to 10 as that's the base of the timer, meaning that you'll always have at least 10 points. Thankfully, if you get hit near the end of a goal, you can drain the timer stars to 0 and quickly jump into the end goal to get your star count to 0. So as long as there's an enemy on the final screen in a level, you can get 0 stars. That's all there is to it. Now let's clear the intro level and jump into the first world. One is very easy, as everything you would need to dodge is completely out of the way, making it a straight shot to the goal. There are plenty of enemies around the end goal for you to use to get your timer down, letting us beat this level with a score of 4. Wait, what? Where on this entire island did we get 4 star points? We definitely did jump into the goal with 0 on our timer. Well, my friends, it's time to tell you the real truth. The SNES version of this game is completely non-viable for this challenge. Due to the way this game was coded more than likely, whenever you jump into the goal ring at the end, your timer is still secretly counting back up. So since it takes about 4 seconds for the game to transition to the score screen, that's where those extra points came from. Is a low score run of this game completely unviable? Technically, yeah, kinda. But you know which version of the game doesn't have this problem? The GBA version. Oh yeah, baby. Let's go. In Super Mario Advance 3, Yoshi's Island, when you touch the goal ring, it functions exactly as you expect it to be, giving you a 0 score for 1-1. I guess that means from now on we'll playing on the GBA version, which is fine for the most part as I was gonna cover it anyway, due to having more levels to play. 1-2 is not as brainless as 1-1. There are red coins on the path to the goal this time, although they are very easy to dodge if you either just jump over them or walk under. Next up to talk about is the middle ring. When you pass by a middle ring, you gain a checkpoint and 10 additional stars for your timer. While this might be a bad thing, it really isn't. Having a checkpoint very much makes up for having to drain 10 more stars from our timer at the end, especially near the end of the game where levels start to get much harder. The rest of the level is not that bad, you just simply fly over everything and run to the end. There are Shy Guys all over the place in the final room, giving us a low score of 0. 1-3 is a cave level. Near the beginning is this layout of coins. All 4 of the top coins are red, so we need to take the bottom route and walk under all of them. After that, this is another easy level, as everything is mostly out of your way. There's a pipe with an endless amount of Shy Guys in it at the end, giving us a massive score of 0 points. 1-4 is our first of many castle levels. Every 4th and 8th level has a boss at the end that we need to fight. But before we talk about that, we still have a level to play. The beginning is easy, just take the hidden top route to skip everything. No coin up here is red, so it's all safe. Once in the second room, you'll need to hover over these coins over the lava, and when going to get the key, you need to hover below all of these coins. Now I know some of them aren't red, but it's really hard to tell which one is red without muscle memory that I don't have. Once inside the door, we can now fight our first boss, Bert the Bashful. Now bosses in this game are weird. The same applies for them like it does the end goal. Once you land the final hit, you want to be at 0. However, most bosses have a different death timing, meaning you'll have to hit them at a certain time to get to 0 instead of hitting them directly at 0. This is one of those types of bosses, as once you do the last hit, it takes an extra second for them to die. So instead you hit them at 1 second left, giving us a score of 0 points. 1-5 is one of many auto-scrollers in this game. The first half is very easy as everything you'll need to collect is at the bottom of these platforms. It's at the middle ring where the level becomes difficult. There is a row of 5 coins with a flower at the end. Jumping over is not an option as Yoshi doesn't get enough height to go over. The way I pass this part is to take one of these many daisies and spit them up on the platform. After jumping on it, Yoshi will get a massive height boost with his flutter jump, easily clearing this gap. There is another way to pass this. You can take the spinning platforms over between the coin and the flower and just barely fit in between them. From here, the level is no longer a threat. Just make sure to carry a Shy Guy in your mouth to use to damage yourself to get a score of 0 points. 1-6 is very easy. The only real danger here is the spring in this giant row of coins. I'm pretty sure some of them near the end are red, so we need to hover below the coins, just barely making it up to the top of the level to progress. At first, there is a massive problem at the end, as there are no enemies around to drop your timer. However, if you walk over to this random balloon, when it pops you take damage, letting us still get a score of 0 points. 1-7 is very interesting. To start off, this is an important level as here we can perform the infinite lives trick to stock off with as many lives as we want. However, just beyond this is a flower in the middle of this hole. It looks like there's no way to get past this flower, so I guess we'll have to soak up 10 points, right? Of course not, no one ever falls for these depressing challenge moments ever. At first glance, there is no way, but remember, Yoshi's Island is a pretty old game. As such, it has some pretty vivid jankiness in it. One of the major things in this game is that Yoshi can go off screen on the top of the map. And most, if not all levels in this game have their tiles stop at the very top of the screen before the ceiling. This means if you somehow get on top of a ceiling, you can actually stand around and walk on it. Now, how exactly does this help us here? Well, in 1-7, this roof above the flower has the same rules as every other ceiling. So if we somehow got up there, we can bypass this flower. Well, getting up there is actually pretty simple, but the execution is hard. First, you want to take a Shy Guy and spin him up at the top of this dirt. Then with a precise jump on his head, you want to flutter jump all the way off screen, and with enough precise hovers, Yoshi should be able to clear the wall and land on top of it. With that flower dodge, we can easily get a score of 0. All we have to do now is grab an enemy for the last room and... Oh. There are no enemies in this room. The final room in this level has no enemies, so we can't knock off our child to drain our timer. What we're gonna have to do is drain our score in a prior room and rush to the goal. And while points are inevitable doing it this way, we don't really have a choice. In the final room, if you go to the center and jump into the sky, you can find a secret room. This will be the room we drain our score in. Once you have a 0, quickly jump into the pipe and make a mad dash to the goal. If you did everything right, you should get a score of at least 3, ruining our perfect 0 score and ending this level with a score of only 3 points. 1-8 is pretty simple for the most part. This first room has many dangerous red coins near the top, but thankfully these rolling platforms can be stood on in the middle, so if you dash through and jump low, you should be able to make it to the pipe. Next up is this room with the key. We can't get up there the normal way due to those coins, as one of them is red, so instead we can use this nearby bandit. Jump on his head and we can get just enough height to get the key and face a sad harsh of reality. These coins block the way to the door, and 2 of these coins turn out to be red coins. To my knowledge, these coins are actually unavoidable for now. At least nothing else blocks us for fighting the boss, Salvo the Slime. This boss has an easy timing, just when you hit 0, deal the final blow, but it's really hard to get a gauge about how much health he has, so you're just gonna have to wing it and see. Ending off this castle with a total of 2 points, and ending off World 1 with a final world score of 5 points. Two one is really easy. As long as you're patient, just run under everything while on the ground. Thankfully, none of these coins are red in the Tetris section, and as long as you're not rushing, everything is easily avoided. Just remember to grab a Shy Guy for the end, and you'll end the stage with a score of 0 points. 2-2 is a very interesting level. To progress, we need to grab this superstar from down the stairs. It's a little tricky at first to get down these stairs without collecting coins, but once you get the jump, you can get the star and move on to the next section. Here you'll meet the worst enemy in the entire game, the baseball boys. Mostly the ones with gloves. Now the big deal with these guys is that they throw eggs to attack, and while they aren't threatening to us physically, they are massive threats psychologically, as they can collect coins with their egg shots, so you need to be extra careful with them. This area has red coins in the middle of these jumps, so we need to hover over them. You can even jump on the baseball dude's head and get a height boost, so it isn't too big of a deal. Now it's just a straight shot to the end. Just make sure in the final maze you go left to dodge a few coins in the middle of the maze. Keep this level in the back of your mind, as we'll talk about it more later, but for now, take one of these mouse dudes to the goal for an easy score of 0 points. The beginning of 2-3 is easy. Either stay low or bounce on the gusties to stay high in the air. Once in the cave, we reach a new problem. These beginning coins are red, but you can edge the gap and barely squeeze by. The real problem is the next part. These 2 coins are red and are impossible to dodge, so you're going to have to collect them, right? Well, remember that thing about the ceiling in 1-7? There is one of those above the coins that we can access. We just need a little bit more height. Thankfully, there is an enemy generator as soon as you enter this cave. So by spinning this enemy on this ledge, we can just barely enough height to clear this gap and land on the ceiling, bypassing these 2 coins, and once you jump over this red coin at the very start of the superstar section, this level is a breeze with a simple score of 0 points. 2-4 is also pretty easy. At the beginning, just run right and you'll dodge everything. This level has some coins that you'll need to maneuver around, but most of them aren't red, so it should be fine. Once you're in the dungeon room, just hover over everything and you should be at the boss. Big Boo is the simplest boss yet, just turn around and hit him with an egg at 0. 2-4 is completely done with a score of 0 points. 2-5 is a very short and simple level. You can literally grab a Lakitu cloud and fly over the whole level in both rooms. There are plenty of enemies everywhere, meaning this is a final score of 0 points. 2-6 is also very simple. The only part of interest is the cave. The normal way with the spring has a flower blocking the path, so we need to get to a higher point and use a bat to hover over the platform. At the end, the only enemy here is a flower guy, so make sure you have a decent amount of stars so Mario can come over, making this a score of 0 points. 2-7 is another easy level. As long as you stick to the left and on the ground at the wall section, everything is avoidable. At the end, you have these 2 tap-tap dudes that you can use, letting us end with a score of 0 points. 2-8 is actually very annoying. At the beginning section, most of the coins are fine while the red coins are near the bottom. After the platform ride, we come to these platforms. These have some weird physics, but we can use it to our advantage, and sometimes when you jump, you get much more height than normal, letting us clear that yellow platform with red coins. Getting the key to progress is no problem, but now on our ascent to the boss, we have this row of coins with some of them being red. Thankfully, it's not that hard, just very nerve-wracking and not knowing which one is which. The final room here is the bandit room. If you stick to the left and get the key, you can avoid most of the annoying things, get the middle ring, and stick to the right to get to the boss room. Roger the Potted Ghost is not a tough boss. Just push the shy guys off supporting him, get your time to 0, and fully push him off the ledge for an easy win, and an easy score of 0 points, capping off World 2 with a complete score of 0 points. (3-1) introduces the monkeys. These guys are pretty annoying, but nothing compares to the watermelon spitting ones. Similar to the baseball boys, the watermelon seeds can collect coins and flowers for you, but unlike eggs, once seeds have been shot out, there is nothing you can do to stop them. You need to disarm the monkeys immediately or quickly run past them before they get to shoot off some seeds. As for the level, it's once again pretty simple till near the end. There's nothing really notable about it, as you can pretty much run under everything. At the end, make sure you eat the watermelon monkeys before they collect anything for you. Now you want to run into this monkey ladder for them to steal the baby, and let them run over to the goal before eating them, letting us have a score of 0 points. 3-2 is also really simple. The only thing remotely in the way are a few flowers, but you can easily jump past them. The end of the level has plenty of enemies for you to use as you bring your score down to 0 points. 3-3 is really easy. Just jump on the head of a monkey in the first 2 sections and hover over to the airplane bubble to make it to the submarine section. Not only is it cramped in here, there's also a few red coins in here, but you can dodge every coin in here if you really want. Once out of the submarine room, to progress, we need to go down these stairs. But the problem is that there's a red coin blocking the path. For the longest time, it was thought that this coin was impossible to dodge, but a very overlooked glitch made everyone realize that this coin is actually completely dodgeable. When you use Yoshi's tongue, you can move both left and right, but moving the opposite way makes Yoshi move backwards instead of turning around. This can be precisely used on stairs to move Yoshi backwards instead of just moving up a step. So if you consistently press B and move back each time, Yoshi will progressively inch back before eventually running out of ground, falling below. Now we can enter the door completely skipping this coin. Once again, there are plenty of enemies in the final area, giving us a clutch score of 0 points. 3-4 is once again another easy castle. As long as you go in the water and go under the coins, you can dodge everything and make it to the boss no problem. The boss here, Prince Froggy, is very weird. Apparently this guy has one of the most complex health systems in this game. What this boils down to is that depending on how you fight him, he will die in a different amount of hits. Thankfully, the way I fight him seems to be pretty consistent, as every time I fight this guy, he dies in 9 hits. Just stand still and throw eggs completely upwards, and on the final hit, lose Mario. Hit him on 0 to deal the final blow, and end this frog's life with a tasty score of 0 points. 3-5 is a little annoying but manageable. In the first room, be very careful with your egg shots to break the dirt to make a path forward, and you can hover over everything in the second area. In the final area, it's better to go under the coins and kill the plants as you make your way to the goal. Plenty of monkeys and shy guys help to get that score of 0 points. 3-6 is very short but very unfortunate. At the very start, we grab the key and race to the door. Spoiler alert, there are no enemies in the final room. So we need to drain our score in the cave, and the moment it reaches 0, make a mad dash to the end. If your timing was perfect, you should just barely be able to squeeze out an unfortunate score of 5 points. 3-7 is kinda long, but there really isn't anything you can't dodge here. Nothing is really red, nor is there many flowers in the way, and there are many enemies at the end, giving this level a score of 0 points. 3-8 is a unusually long level, but it actually is very short when you're not collecting stuff, pretty much meaning we can make a straight shot to the end once again. Unfortunately, we need to fight Naval Piranha the normal way, as we need him to drain our score. But this boss is pretty easy regardless. Just need to get the right timing on 0 for a score of 0 points, and that makes our world score for World 3 a total of 5 points. Four-1 starts off with nothing much blocking the way in this first area. None of these coins at the top are red when leaving the area, and in the second area there really is nothing. However, the last area is the most notable. You need to use the superstar to continue up, but instead of taking the normal path, backtrack to where you came from since there are red coins on the wall. Once at the top, you can go down and run up to the next wall for more disappointment. Sadly, these 2 red coins are impossible to dodge. Our hitbox is too large not to collect them. There might be a theoretical way to dodge them, however. If we somehow can get to the top of this wall above the coins, then they can be skipped. However, there is no known way to my knowledge to get up there. I know there is a way to jump into walls and get another jump out of it somehow, but I'm definitely sure that's a tool-assisted trick that I can't do. So for now, take one of these wigglers at the end to drain your timer, and we settle on a score of 2 points. 4-2's beginning part is very tricky. First, you want to go to the left entrance so you can grab this Koopa. We'll need to bounce off of him to get past these coins. The middle one is a red one, but it's much easier to get over with the Koopa shell. Thankfully, the second jump gives you another Koopa shell to make the jump again. Now, we aren't done yet. These stairs have coins right in the way, and of course a few of them had to be red. Thankfully, the stairs tongue trick can be used on the first coin, and the second coin can just be jumped over. That's basically it for the dangers on this level. Everything else can be ran under or skipped. And there are some negatives at the end, giving us an obvious score of 0 points. 4-3 is pretty simple as all the coins can be avoided no problem. I really truly have nothing else to say about this level. And there are obviously foes at the very end of the level, giving us a score of 0 points. 4-4 is very long and makes you go through various rooms. Before we even get to that, we need to outrun a chain chomp before it eats the ground to run on. The main problem is that there are red coins throughout the chase, so we need to dodge them and the chomp. Thankfully, you can kinda slow him down so you can make the tight ducks and make it to the main level. We have 4 doors with 4 keys we need to collect. Starting from the top right, we want to be very careful with these green blocks. Eggs bounced off of these green blocks will not degrade over time, so we need our egg shots to not touch those coins at the top. As long as you avoid the red bandit, you can get the key and move on. Bottom left is completely free, as there's nothing in your way to get the second key. Bottom left is a bit difficult as there's lava everywhere. Go low under these coins at the very end on the bottom and top parts. Top left is easy. Just only throw eggs when you absolutely have to, and make it to the key. With all 4 of these rooms done, we now make it to the boss, Matilda. This one is insanely easy. Leave one small enemy alive and get hit. Once it reaches 0, just swallow and you're done, giving us a killer score of 0 points. 4-5, the choice to take the Chomp Rock is yours. It makes no difference at the end, as while you can dodge everything, at the end of the Chomp Rock section path is 2 red coins. So it's just better to ignore it. Once in the final area, you'll wait and jump over Tap Tap as you want to go under these coins. I know some of them are red, but I don't know which ones are. Once past all of these coins, there are some Koopas at the end, giving us the same score of 0 points. 4-6 is very boring and straightforward. You just go through some doors as every coin on the path to the end isn't red. I really have nothing else to say about this level 2. There are even Shy Guys and plants at the end, making it a straightforward score of 0 points. 4-7 is pretty similar to 4-6, having no coins in the way in the first area. Everything in the final area is avoidable. But wait a minute, there seems to be no enemies in this room. How do we lower our score? Well, I'm actually lying. There's actually an enemy in this area. This lone bullet bill spawner. We'll need to carry this guy in our mouth to the end, as even when you spit him out, he can actually damage you, letting us slash our score down to 0 points. 4-8 has one major problem. Once you gain the key from the lower part of the level, you come across this row of coins just below the spikes. All 4 of these coins happen to be red, making this basically impossible. Now while this is indeed impossible, there is a way to continue towards the door. If you grab this arrow platform from the bottom of the ground, you can just barely squeeze past these 2 red coins right here. But this is really, really hard. So let's not do that and let's do something much more simple. Now you can break these blue spike balls down here, but by the time you break a few of these, you'll run out of eggs and there's no way to get more of them. Well, instead, you can just use watermelon seeds to break the remaining spikes to clear an easy path to the next area. Whoa, wait a minute. Let's take one step back. Where in the heck did you get watermelon seeds from? I thought the only way to get those were from bonus games, which you can't get at all without flowers. Well, obviously, you don't know about the minigame cheat code. You'll literally get any item you want, so I mean, that's really not an issue. The last danger in this level is this room, completely different from the SNES version, by the way. As long as you only aim up, you can squeeze through these flowers and make it to the boss. Hook Bill is very simple. On his last hit, make him stand up on 6, then quickly knock him down, and once it turns to 0, land the final blow to complete the castle with only 0 points, ending this world off with a score of only 2 measly points. Five 1 is a very simple level. Nothing is in the way that you can't avoid by staying low to the ground. Just be careful not to grab the coins the Shy Guys are carrying at the end of the level when turning your score down to a cold 0. 5-2's start and ends are very tricky. At the beginning, you want to eat one of these penguins at the end of this section, as there are 2 red coins at the top of this hill. The penguin we saved is for getting the necessary height needed to hover over the gap and clear the coins. Now the ending is interesting. The only thing that can hurt us are these flying Shy Guys, so we need to transport one over to the goal. Thankfully, it's easy to hover over and ride the lift to the end, getting us a toasty score of 0 points. Five 3. Oh god. Okay, let's just get this over and over with. Now, before we get to why this level sucks, let's talk about the beginning. Everything can be squeezed through and hovered over with penguins. Nothing really to talk about there. But once you enter the room with this hut, prepare for hell. Grab one of these Goonies and hit yourself, turning your score to 0. Then grab the middle ring so every time you do this, your score will be set to 10 instead. This will be important for later. Once we enter the cabin, it's time for the skiing section. One of the hardest, most annoying sections in the entire low score challenge. The perfection you'll need to make it through this part is very extreme to make it past everything we can dodge. Taking a look at a map for this area, You can see red coins and flowers all over the place, and due to our very limited control, it's extremely hard to avoid all of this. One coin of note is this coin, which has no way of being dodgeable due to being straight on the path. Everything else can be avoided. The good news is that only the first area has collectibles, so once you pass this area, it's smooth sailing. First you want to jump at the 4th coin from the start, then jump close to this rock as possible to avoid everything above. Jump early to avoid a red coin on this row, and then jump as late as possible to avoid this flower. Now this next part is the hardest jump in the entire game to get correctly, and will take you many different tries to get right. Just before the 5th coin on this mountain, jump at the perfect time to clear this ramp and onto a nearby flying goonie to jump off of it just to get past 2 different red coins. After grabbing the unavoidable red coin, it's time for the last obnoxious jump in the entire level. At the base of this mountain, after these 3 coins, jump at the very edge of the base, and you should just barely reach the edge of the mountain while squeezing under the flower. The very last collectible in the entire level. Now we can just slide on over to the end with no more anxiety. Now let's drop our score to... wait. Where are all the enemies at? Oh no, you can't be serious. No, you can't be serious. Yeah, so this is the reason why you want to drop your score to 10 at the middle ring, because as it turns out, this level wanted to earn the right to be called the worst level in the entire game by a long shot. Not only is there a coin we can't dodge, but this is the first level where the end screen has no enemies, meaning we have to take the 10 timer points with us at the goal, giving us a very bitter score of 11 points. 5-4. This level is structured very annoyingly. Mostly this ghost platform ride, but once you make it to the boss, we're hit with a second reality check in a row. This boss is the only boss in the game that cannot hurt you in any way. No, not this time. Not twice in a row. I will not take these points, even if it means I have to break reality. This level is a special case, as this has a very interesting exploit we can use. When the game transitions you from area to area, you go through a specific way, so be it a pipe or a ceiling. However, if you were to somehow enter this wrong, let's say you enter from reverse side of a ceiling, the game gets very confused. There's no specified place to take you in this instance, so the game takes you to its default area position, which just happens to be at the very top right of 1-1. Entering 1-1 like this still means you're in the level you entered, and hitting the goal still counts the level as beaten. This trick is only used in speedrunning, and sadly it only works in a very few levels, which is why I've never mentioned it until now. We can use it in low score to skip this invincible boss. Right around this pipe is where we can perform this trick. Take a Shy Guy from earlier in the level and place him on this ledge. Break these blue spikes to uncover the abyss. Basically what we're about to do is enter this pipe from the other side, which triggers the 1-1 warp. Hold the egg straight up and lock it with the L button so you can actually see where you are, and jump on the Shy Guy, hold left, and extend your hover just barely so you can enter the other side. This will take you many tries, but once you land the trick, you'll end up in 1-1. So now we hover in the air until it puts us in a level proper, and just rush over to the end and drain our score just like in the normal 1-1, beating 5-4 with a glitchy score of 0 points. 5-5. I really have nothing to say about this level. Everything is out of the way, and you can fly over everything, and these Goonies can drain your score for you, and giving us a freebie of 0 points. 6-5 sucks. The first half of it is an auto-scroller, meaning that everything is going to be in our face this time around. Even worse is around the halfway mark of these baseball dudes throwing eggs at us, and meaning they have a very high chance of collecting things for us. Just let them aim down at us and quickly lick up their eggs to make sure you don't grab anything. The rest of the auto-scroller isn't that bad, ducking over everything else. On to the second half, going up into the sky. Many red coins are on the path, but thankfully balloons show up to carry us to the top to hover over everything. Near the end is this very insane and tricky jump, so we need to carefully hover in a way that does not have us bonk our head on the pipe. Once past that, get eaten by this piranha plant on the pipe to drain the timer, giving us a score of 0 points. 5-7 is easy due to how these platforms work and the level itself. It's really easy to get some massive airtime and hover over everything in the level. So there isn't anything to talk about. Just remember to grab a bullet bill at the end to get hit by, granting us a calm score of 0 points. 5-8 is the castle level and has some really hard roadblocks. First off, do not grab the first middle ring, as there are collectibles in the way, and every time you respawn, they will still be in your way. Just ignore it. The hardest part of this level is this vertical room. This room has a wall of coins blocking the way. Now, only a few of these coins are red, so we just need to weave bit through. But the real roadblock is this flower right in the way of this pipe. Dodging this flower is incredibly hard, but not impossible. There is a lot of room to the left, so we need to just duck under while on the arrow, and if your position is correct, jump, hold up at the same time, and you should enter the pipe. The rest of the level is simple, until the boss. Raphael the Raven sends you to the moon, where you need to peg him with these pegs on the ground 3 times. Timing a 0 is really tricky, but when you jump on him, he freezes him in place for a bit, allowing you to run over and peg him down at 0, defeating him and clearing this level with a satisfying score of 0 points, bringing this world's total score to a disgusting 11 points. Six 1 is surprisingly straightforward. You can hover over most things, and as long as you're patient, you can pass the chain chomp part with no issues. Get hit by some tap taps at the end for a clean start of 0 points. 6-2 is a fairly easy level until the end. Bandits will mostly be in your way, so make sure you hover over them so they don't make you go someplace annoying or touch a coin by mistake. At the end is a superstar section with the whole floor with spikes. After making a tricky jump with this red coin at the end of this corridor, we need to end our start early, as there are no enemies at the very end of the level, so we need to use an enemy in this spike floor area. Run over to this baseball bat guy so that he hits a rock under these blocks. Jump on top, avoiding the rats so that you don't die when transforming back. Scroll the screen to spawn the rats again, and jump on one of them to get to the top part. Now just respawn a rat to go towards the goal, and follow it to take damage and end the level with a score of 0. 6-3 has these logs that you can touch to give you a ridiculous amount of height, so the whole level is just spent hovering over everything. It's also very short and has these ghost shy guys at the end you can use, giving this level an easy score of 0 points. 6-4 is a very annoying level. The first area is no problem if you go to the ceiling. We do need to fight Salvo again, but it's pretty easy. Now we come to the dark maze area. We need to find the key to continue, but it's pretty easy since all you need to do is kill yet another Salvo. Now all we need to do is ride the platforms over to the end to the boss. Tap tap the red nose. This fight is ridiculously easy. All you need to do is knock him into the lava. But in low score, there is a problem. The game still continues for a good 8 seconds before he fully dies and ends the level. The timing on this boss is probably the hardest in the game, as not only do you need to break these blocks to make a path to the lava, but this boss is invincible and constantly moves around. And 80% of the time, he's just gonna jump in the lava by complete accident anyway. This is a true test of luck and patience, but eventually the stars should align, giving you a sharp score of 0 points. 6-5 is so boring. This is just a really long auto-scroller. There really isn't even anything to talk about here. It's just that boring. Actually, you know what? I just lied. I lied to you all. You know what isn't boring? This garbage red coin. This is an incredibly tight jump that, if you screw up, have to play the entire auto-scroller again. And most of the time, this is what's gonna happen. So I hope you get used to that. Now, once you actually make that perfect jump that makes it through, you're still not done yet, as we have the second half of the level here. These dead birds at the beginning here are the only enemies in the area, so we need to eat one and juggle him to the end. You want to screen the scroll near Yoshi, spit up, jump onto the platform, and duck. The scrolling of the screen will push you under these final coins, which some of them are red. Quickly eat up the enemy again and use him to take damage. The last part is a bit tricky. Due to Baby Mario's tendency to favor hovering to the right screen when he's not with you, you need to be quick and precise when hitting the goal, as there is no way to restart from the middle ring once you're at the end. If you do everything right, you should just barely get a short score of 0 points. 6-6 is thankfully pretty short. You just need to collect a few keys. The first one is no problem, but the second one is a little tricky. This cloud is in the way of an egg shot to bring the key down, but once you hit it, it pops out a flower fully blocking the way. The alternative way to get this key is to jump off of this ghost guy and just hover up to the key. With the second key, the level is done, and there are a ton of enemies at the end, ending with a final score of 0 points. 6-7 isn't as short, but also isn't super difficult. The only annoying part is this chain chomp segment with red coins in the way of your jump path. You need to quickly jump under them before you get hit to make sure you get to the next section. The elevator ride isn't hard, just avoid the very last coin to continue on, and you're pretty much done. Let these bandits take your baby, let them run off screen, and end the almost final level with a score of 0 points. Currently, our world score is at 0 points, leaving only the final level in the game. But before we tackle that, I think it would be interesting if we went over the secret and extra levels first. Now, like I said before, the extra levels can only be played if you have 100%ed its respective world. But even then, I still think it would be fun to do, so let's pretend it doesn't matter and just jump right in. Extra 1 starts off with this level, Poochie Ain't Stupid. This level is a horrible and difficult auto-scroller that is mostly filled with lava. Thankfully, we don't have to really play it. You can actually skip the auto-scroller trigger by repeatedly jumping on bats to the top of the screen, as the bats not only infinitely respawn, but they also scale to your height. Once you jump onto the ceiling, jump from ceiling to ceiling to make it to the end. If you don't quite make it, just jump on some bats to regain your height. Once you make it to the rotating spike balls, jump into it as high as possible and hover over to the last platform past the flower. Once the timer is 0, grab Baby Mario and jump right into the end goal. With some luck, you should get a low score of 0 points. Extra 2 is very short, but kinda complex. First, go down this pipe and grab as many stars as possible. You will need them. Once you have them, we can play the rest of the level proper until we get to this platform. Here we want to jump into this piranha plant's mouth. This is literally the only enemy in this entire level, but thankfully this level is only one screen. So as long as we keep our timer up, we can eventually reach the end with no Baby Mario on our back. But 30 seconds is nowhere near enough time to beat this level. If only we had a way to refill our timer. Oh yeah, there is an item that does that. We need a crap ton of these star cards to refill our timer throughout the level on our way to the end. Speaking of which, is really easy. If you time a jump while this platform goes up, you'll get an insane height boost, which is enough to land on the very last platform that leads to the goal ring. Now all we have to do is wait for Baby Mario to come over, ending this level with a complex score of 0 points. Extra 3 is just confusing as heck. Coins are literally everywhere, there's like no ground, and monkeys constantly shoot seeds and collect stuff for you, and is overall just not a fun time. The saving grace is that this level is short and you can hover over most of it. Grab a convenient Shy Guy at the end, and end the level for a dizzying score of 0 points. Extra 4 is a maze level that is surprisingly not that hard. Barely anything is in the way, letting us push these boxes and have a straight shot to the goal. However, once you make it to the end, we have yet another major problem. This flower is completely in the way with no way to dodge it, at first glance. There actually is a way to get past this. There is a convenient piranha plant in this area. When you get eaten, Yoshi's hitbox disappears for a moment until he's spat out. If you time it right, you can get eaten, and while the piranha plant is sliding on the water, he'll go past the flower with you in its mouth. So when you're spat out, you'll be past the flower. Just don't do this too late or you won't be able to recover Baby Mario with your tongue. Once at the end, use this random ghost guy to get rid of your baby. Your controls will be reversed from normal, but we can still get a score of 0 points. Extra 5 continues having World 5 levels be absolute hell. This level's gimmick is that Kamek will be chasing you the entire time. The best strategy I can tell you is to keep moving at all times. At the beginning, just quickly jump over all the baseball boys before they start throwing eggs. There are red coins in this mess, so it's better to just move quickly enough so they don't throw it at all. Once past the first section, it's the return of skiing. Now, thankfully, you can dodge everything in this ride, and it's so much easier, but it's still pretty annoying. This flower has 2 red coins in front of it, so we need to jump over all that. In the last jump in the first section, jump early to avoid the last coin, which is red. There is no danger in the second room if you do absolutely nothing, but the final jump is very important. If you simply play it out, Yoshi will land on a helicopter bubble. This bubble is right next to a baseball guy throwing eggs, and that coin stack right above you has a red coin that this guy will 99% grab every time. We need to jump early to mess up our angle enough so that we grab a completely different bubble, letting us continue without this problem. Now that we're at the end, we need to face another sad, cold reality truth. The final room has no enemies once again, but the loading zone is pretty close to the goal, so get hit by Kamek, drain the 0, and quickly run to the goal. Ending this level with an evilness score of 3 points. Why does it have to be every World 5 level? Why? I hate freaking World 5. Extra 6 is the final extra level. This level is usually pretty difficult, but for a low score, there really isn't anything threatening here. The first room is tricky, but can easily cleared with damage boosting. The second room has nothing in our way, and the third room can be cheesed using a melon item to break the spikes. And the elevator has nothing in the way as well. Just make sure in the room where you fall for a million years, make sure you hover down safely. The baseball boys will throw eggs once they touch the floor, and will absolutely grab this flower on the right. In this final room, jump off the platform and swim all the way to the right to the end goal platform. Then ride this hidden platform, jump for a height boost, and make it to the end. Now sadly, this level also has no enemies at the end, and unlike the last level, even if you start at 0 in the previous room, you can't make it to the goal in time without counting it back up to 10. So we need to end this stage off with an agonizing score of 10 points, ending our extra world score of 13 points. With the extra levels done, let's start the secret levels. To unlock the secret levels, you simply have to beat the game. Let's start with Secret 1. Secret levels come in 2 varieties, very short and easy, or very long and very annoying. Secret 1 is of the short variety. There is nothing directly in your way, but once you enter the second to last screen, you'll want to drain your score with this spiky dude to 0 and jump into this middle ring because, spoiler alert, there are no enemies in the last room. In the last room, simply hover over everything with a height boost, but once you make it to the flippers, You'll have to hover under these coins, as the very last one is red. Once you make the block climb, jump into the goal for a disappointing start of 10 points. Secret 2 also falls into the short and easy category. With the right path, you basically will never encounter a flower or coin, and the goal is right through these blocks. There are plenty of enemies in this room, letting us end with a redeeming score of 0 points. Secret 3 is sadly one of the long levels. This has a focus on transforming into different things. Now, for the most part, nothing is really annoying to get through, nor is anything in your direct path. But one transformation in particular is very linear with nothing else you can do other than move around. The train. The train has to move along these tracks with no way around anything. This is important as there's a red coin directly in the middle of this spiral that we must travel through in order to continue the level. There is no way to bypass this coin, as the only way forward is a one-tile gap that only the small train can travel through, meaning we must collect this coin to beat the level. The last section is the car, and thankfully, these two jumping shy guys are right next to the goal. So just lure these guys over to the detransformation block, slurp one up, and drain your score for an express score of 1 point. Secret 4 is, once again, long and a real bit difficult. It mostly wants you to bounce off a ton of these enemies to get some height and clear some jumps. While the first two rooms have no real danger inside of them, the third room with the fuzzies does have a certain problem. Red coins are not only placed everywhere, but this certain area after the bullet bill jump has this arrangement of coins. We don't have enough height to make it normally, so we need to place a Koopa shell on this platform to get an extended hover, and hover over these coins. We can then proceed to the final area, an auto-scroller with a tight jump at the end. Whoop-de-doo. Before you make this jump, make sure you have a bullet bill in your mouth to drain your score with, and with a decent flutter jump, you can hover over the flower and end the stage with a score of 0 points. Secret 5 just might be the easiest level in this challenge. This stage is 10 seconds long and the end of the level is literally to the right. However, looking at a map for this level, there are literally no enemies in this room whatsoever, meaning we need to leech off of a previous room and dash over to the goal. The lowest score that I could ever get on this stage is a measly 4 points. Secret 6 is long and stupid and boring, and honestly I don't really care for this level at all. First off, it starts with an auto-scroller, that's cool. Then you fall down avoiding these one-shot spikes everywhere before needing to find a key to progress. So long as you enter the outside area with the middle section housing a key. The key is really easy to grab, so now we can just run over to the locked door, run through this cave area to the end where the tutorial section ended. Now if you remember, there were shy guys at the end of said tutorial level, so we can end this level with an easy score of 0 points. And I'll be honest, if it seemed like I skimmed that level, I honestly kinda did. It really is a whatever level. This ends our secret level world score with 15 points. Man, the extra and secret levels kinda just killed us, didn't it? Six 8 starts off with an easy flight to the front door as long as you stick to the bottom. Now we have 4 doors to choose from. To make things interesting, I'll go ahead and cover them all. Door 1 leads to a room with a ton of lava and red coins on the ceiling. It's not so bad until you come to a roadblock with these blocks that you have to hit with eggs. As long as you don't hit the red coin behind you, you can easily break this and completely realize that door 1 is unbeatable. These coins on the way are red and take up so much room on the screen that you can't avoid touching at least one of them. Door 2 is similar to door 1, but instead of lava, there are a ton of enemies here. The main issue with this one is that the exit pipe is guarded by 2 red coins on a higher ledge. If only we had a way of getting more height. Well, actually we do. This random tribal shy guy here can be bounced on to reach the higher ledge and bypass those 2 red coins, letting us fight Salvo again, get a key, and move on to the penultimate room, making door 2 possible. For door 3, we... Alright. Be honest. How much do you want to bet those coins are red? Oh wait. Door 4 is the easiest and simplest, as not only is it literally 2 jumps and some hovers to jump over literally everything, but it just feels like a small bonus room, making Door 4 possible. Also, if you said that this coin was red, then congratulations, you win. We slowly make our way to the final door with nothing else in our way, but I recommend having at least 15 stars on your timer before you enter this fight. We now approach and pick a fight with the Baby Koopa King himself, Bowser, who we defeat easily because we all know this isn't even a real fight. Kamek infuses Bowser with magic, turning him giant. Bowser will now be in the background, and now we need to throw eggs at him to win. 7 eggs is all it takes. Now this fight is pretty much like normal, but once he takes 3 hits, he'll switch to phase 2, breaking the floor even more, and will now get even closer. Hit Bowser 2 more times for a total of 5 hits. Now we need to get hit ourselves for the 0 score. Let Bowser walk forward as much as possible. As long as he's not been hit 6 times, he will always eventually stop and shoot fireballs. We want to get hit now because on the 6th hit, Bowser will keep walking forever and break the floor and end the fight in our death. With the baby off of your back, quickly hit Bowser with an egg and quickly grab another. And if you time it right, throw your last egg into Bowser to completely defeat him with your timer completely empty. With Bowser dead but not really and Baby Mario off our literal back, we end the final level of the no score run with a spectacular score of 0 points, bringing our total world score of World 6 to 0 points.